guys, it's Sarah, and today is part 2 of my March book haul. I have 9 books to show you. 5 of them came from either publishers or as gifts, and then the other 4 I bought myself. So, 9 books. Yep. This first one was very kindly sent to me from Dial Publishing, and this one is the book. This book is not yet rated, and this is by Peter Bognani. Yeah, I think Bognani. This is one I have never heard of, but this is kind of a coming of age story about a boy who is in love with this theater that's in his town. It's like an old theater. He has found a lot of comfort there. And then the city developers decide they are going to tear down this theater and build something else there. And he's trying to fight that. So he's enlisting some help from some of his friends to try to save this theater somehow. So that's interesting. I've never heard of it, like I said. So I guess we will see. But thank you, Dial. And from Harper Voyager, I got a finished copy of The Deepest Blue by Sarah Beth Durst, which was super nice. They did send me an ARC of this one as well. This is a book that is set in her Renthia world, and the original trilogy is The Queen of Blood is the first one, and then I think there's The Reluctant Queen and then The Queen of Sorrow. I have all 3 of those books that they sent me as well. I have not read any of them yet, though. So, but this is one that can be read on its own. It can be read as a standalone. It doesn't have any of the other characters that are in the original trilogy. It's just something that's kind of on its own. So I haven't read it yet, but I do definitely appreciate the finished copy, because if I end up loving it, then I have a very nice hardback to put on my shelves. Okay, so this next one is book number 2 in a series, and I received the first one. The first one is called A Winter's Promise, and I did receive that one as well, and I just haven't read it yet, but then they asked if I wanted book 2, which is coming out in May, and I was like, absolutely, send me that. And so they sent me this. I was like, oh, this is like legit an ARC. They do have the finished cover of it. I'll put it right here, and it's beautiful. So I kind of thought that's what I was going to be getting, because I got a finished copy of the first book, but it's okay. I'll take whatever I can get, right? This is called The Missing of Claire de Lune, and it's volume 2 in the Mirror Visitor Quartet. So there's going to be 4 of these eventually. This is by Christelle Dabos, and I've heard really good things about the first book, A Winter's Promise. I just haven't read it yet, but when I do, I have the second book ready to go. These next 2 books came from a very, very sweet subscriber. Her name is Glenda, and she contacted me and said, I have a couple things I want to send you. Is that okay? And I was like, no. And she did it anyway. So we talked about everything. But yeah, so she wanted to send me a couple things. So I was like, if you really feel like you want to, that's fine. But just know that, always know that you guys, when you guys contact me, I always try to fight you about sending me things, because I am definitely not hurting for anything. And I do understand, you know, a lot of you guys do tell me, you know, we just want to give back because you put a lot of work into these videos, and we want to share our love of books with you as well, which I totally, completely understand, because I send books to other people too. So I get it. I still try to fight you though, just so you know. Okay, so the first one she sent was We Were the Lucky Ones by Georgia Hunter, and I was so excited to see this because I really, really, really want to read this book. This is a historical fiction that I believe follows Georgia's actual family and things that actually happened, but I believe it's a fiction still. So I think she took a couple of liberties with, you know, things that were happening or characters or something, but it is based on her family history. So very excited to read this one. And then you guys, okay, I shrieked a little bit, like I scared my kids, because I shrieked when I opened the box. This is a book that I really, really, really want to read. It scares the crap out of me, but I really, really, really want to read it. And, and I actually, this is a book that I was thinking about buying over spring break. I was going to take my girls to Books A Million and like buy it, but she sent it to me instead. And I was just so shocked and happy. And again, I shrieked. The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. The Big Beast. This is over 800 pages, but I'm hearing amazing, amazing, amazing things about it. This is so heavy. Yeah, so this is a standalone fantasy, which is rare. It's rare to find a standalone fantasy, and it follows dragons. And I believe there's a female-female relationship in here as well, from what I'm hearing. But this is also like, you know, kind of wars against the East and the West in this land, and there's politics and all the things, and I'm literally hearing amazing things about it. So this is one that I definitely want to read. It's going to take me some time. It's not one that I can do an audiobook because I cannot listen to fantasy on audiobook. I will miss things. I will miss important things, and it hasn't worked out for me yet. Every time I listen to a fantasy on audio, I'm like, I feel like I missed some stuff. I didn't fully get it. So definitely fantasy is something I need to read physically in order for me to be able to take everything in the way I need to. So it's going to be a project, but I'm so excited for it. And it's so incredibly stunning. I can't even talk about it. It's so beautiful, and it's raised. Like I can feel the dragon scales. Oh, it's really cool. So Glenda, I've already yelled at you, but thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So let's talk about books that I bought on my own. I picked this up at Walmart just because I was like, you know what? I'm going to treat myself to a book right now because I had written a 21-page paper for one of my classes. And I was like, I need some sort of reward here. So I got Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. I don't know if it's Bachman or Bachman. I need to find an interview with him where like he says his name or someone says his name correctly. I've heard it both ways. But this is the follow-up to Beartown, which I have not read yet, but I do own. Lindsay sent that one to me for Advent. So I wanted to kind of have this one on hold when I do pick that one up because I have a feeling I'm going to want to read them back to back. I've heard very, very good things about both of them. And yeah, so I need to do that sometime. This next one I got at Goodwill, and I am officially not buying any more books from this author until I start reading some from her. Because I think this is maybe number 5 now that I have of hers, and I have not read anything by her yet. So I need to fix that. But I got the Bolin Inheritance by Philippa Gregory. I'm very, very interested in the Tudors series by her. I know she has written quite a few different series and, you know, things that happen, but I'm very interested in the Tudor time period just in general. I love the show The Tudors that was on a few years ago, and I was kind of obsessed with that show. And so it definitely made me want to read, you know, some books that are set in that time period. And I've heard that she's just a good one for that time period to read from. So, but I now have too many books of hers and I haven't read her yet. So I am no longer going to buy any more books from Philippa Gregory until I start reading the Tudor series. And I have the first book. So yeah. This next one I got on Amazon because it went down in price significantly. It's one that's been on my wish list for a while. I've heard very good things about it. I've heard it's very disturbing. And I have just had it, but it's always been of like $19 for a hardback. And I'm like, that's too much for me. Like, I don't spend that much money on books. I just don't do that. But it went down to $9 on hardcover one day. And I was like, why? Click, put into cart. And that is These Violent Delights. And this is by Victoria Namkung. I don't know the full premise of this. I've heard it's good and it's dark and it's disturbing. That's all I need to know. But seriously, $19 for this. This is super short. Like, this better be the darkest thriller I've ever read for $19, for real. So when it went on, like, I think it said it was 79% off or something, or a 79% drop since I added it to my wish list. I was like, holy crap, I'm totally going to get that now. So $9 I'll spend. $19 I will not, especially if it came like this and it was $19, I would have been really mad because it's just so dang short. So I guess we'll see. But I'm hearing good things. And the last book I pre-ordered. I don't pre-order books, guys. I really don't. It's usually if it's something in a series that I'm, you know, caught up with and I'm ready for the next book, I'll pre-order it when it comes up. But this one, I don't know. I had to. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I am so flipping excited to read this. I'm going to be reading this soon, actually. I do plan to listen to it on audio because I've heard amazing things about the audiobook. So I'll probably listen and read along at the same time. One thing about this book is that this is told in interview format. So it's all interviews. It's not a standard written novel. So that's going to be very interesting, I think. And I think that's going to make the audio much better because it does have a full cast. So each character is a different narrator. And I'm really So excited to read this. So this follows a band in the 70s, I believe, and they're called the Six, and then Daisy Jones ends up collaborating with them or working with them or something, and they kind of form this thing and it becomes huge, and then they break up pretty quickly, I think. And so this is them telling their story years later, and you kind of find out why they broke up and what happened and all the drama and all that stuff. And it's being said that it has very big, you kind of get the Fleetwood Mac vibes. And I grew up listening to Fleetwood Mac. So this is something that I think I'm really, really going to enjoy. And yeah, I'm really excited. I definitely do plan to read this in the next month or two for sure. And yeah, I pre-ordered it. Hey guys, that is it. Those are the books that I have hauled for the second part of March. And I'm not going to be buying any more until April. So hopefully April will be less as well. I don't want to have too many in April. I did put in a book outlet order when their spring sale went on. So I will be getting those books here in the next couple of weeks. And that's probably going to be the bulk of my April haul. So I will show you those in a little bit. It's going to take a little bit to get to me, but we'll see. And then I'm hoping anything else that comes is just stuff from publishers, and that's it. I don't want to be book shopping or anything anymore, because I did get a significant sized box from Book Outlet, which I haven't done in a while. So I did kind of treat myself a little bit, but okay, that's it. Let me know down below if you guys have read any of these books. Let me know if there's any I should pick up really, really soon besides Daisy Jones, because I definitely am going to do that anyway. And I will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.